In earlier centuries, warfare was very different from what it is today. On old battlefields, armies sometimes struggled just to deploy a few cannons or fire a handful of artillery shells. Military technology was limited, and even coordinating simple attacks could be difficult. But in the modern era, warfare has evolved dramatically. Nations now possess long-range ballistic missiles capable of traveling thousands of miles and striking targets with astonishing accuracy. At one point, Iran's Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, publicly spoke about this transformation. In a speech that later circulated widely online, he claimed that Iran's missile program had the potential to develop weapons capable of striking targets up to 5,000 kilometers away. However, according to him, that capability had been intentionally restricted. Khamenei explained that he personally set a limit on the operational range of Iran's missiles. He said he insisted they should not exceed roughly 2,000 kilometers, even though engineers and military officials wanted to expand that range much further. According to his account, he directly instructed them that the program should stop at that distance for the time being. In his explanation, Khamenei suggested this decision was strategic rather than technical. He claimed the missiles already had enough range to strike critical targets while maintaining extremely high accuracy. In fact, he described their guidance systems as capable of hitting within just a few meters of their intended target, an accuracy comparable to pinpointing a needle from far away. To him, this demonstrated technological strength. But when the video began circulating widely online, especially in Chinese-language social media communities, the reaction was far less serious. Many viewers focused not on the claim of advanced technology, but on the reactions of people seated near Khamenei during the speech. Observers noticed that some individuals in the audience appeared to struggle to suppress laughter while he spoke. This led to waves of sarcastic commentary across the internet. Online commentators joked that discussing a hypothetical 5,000-kilometer missile range sounded overly ambitious. Some humorously suggested that even maintaining reliable launches should be considered a success. In their satirical comments, they implied that grand military claims often sounded more impressive in speeches than in reality. Other users on social media mocked the situation further, saying that what was intended as a display of military strength instead turned into a moment of unintended humor. Some even joked that if such missiles existed, the real challenge would be ensuring they didn't malfunction before reaching their destination. Another element that attracted attention was Khamenei's claim that the range restriction was voluntary. Critics online sarcastically compared it to someone saying they could dominate the world if they wanted to, but simply chose not to. Then, on February 28th, a major turning point reportedly occurred. According to multiple reports circulating online, joint operations carried out by the United States and Israel launched precision strikes against several Iranian military sites. During these attacks, air defense systems were put to the test, including the Chinese-manufactured HQ-9B missile defense system. The HQ-9B system, developed in China as a long-range surface-to-air missile platform, was designed to intercept incoming aircraft and missiles. However, in the reported strike scenario, critics claimed that the system failed to stop several incoming projectiles. The consequences described in these reports were severe. A number of high-ranking Iranian officials were reportedly killed during the strikes. Beyond personnel losses, the early days of the conflict also targeted infrastructure connected to Iran's missile program. Within roughly the first 10 days of the fighting, numerous missile storage facilities were damaged or destroyed. Many of these installations were located underground, inside reinforced bunkers or deep mountain tunnels designed to protect strategic weapons from aerial attacks. These locations were often described as Iran's missile cities, hidden networks of tunnels used for storing and launching ballistic missiles. However, according to videos and satellite imagery that circulated online, many of these sites were hit before missiles could even be launched. Strikes reportedly targeted entrances, storage areas, and production facilities, leaving behind destroyed structures and debris. Several videos that spread across social media appeared to show explosions near bunkers in locations such as Isfahan. Thick smoke and dust rose into the air as facilities believed to house missile components were struck. At the same time, Iran's retaliatory capabilities appeared to weaken as the conflict progressed. Observers suggested that continued strikes against storage depots and production lines limited the country's ability to maintain sustained missile launches. Another factor often mentioned in discussions of the conflict was the United States' advanced detection systems in space. The U.S. operates a network of satellites designed to detect missile launches using infrared sensors. These systems can identify the heat signatures produced when rockets ignite, allowing rapid tracking of missiles shortly after launch. This technology is sometimes associated with long-standing missile defense concepts once described during the era of the Strategic Defense Initiative, popularly nicknamed Star Wars. Using satellite detection, launch sites can be identified almost instantly. In theory, once a missile launch is detected, drones, aircraft, or other strike platforms can be directed toward the launch point or supporting infrastructure. Some analysts argue that this kind of technology reduces the advantage of hiding missile systems in remote mountains or underground tunnels. If launch points are detected quickly enough, the entrances to those facilities can be targeted, trapping equipment inside. Videos circulating online appeared to show explosions striking mountain tunnel entrances. In some cases, the blasts caused rockslides or collapsed entryways, potentially sealing equipment inside. Earlier propaganda videos released by Iranian state media had proudly displayed large underground storage areas filled with rows of missiles. These videos were meant to signal strength and deterrence to adversaries. However, critics later pointed out that such footage may have unintentionally revealed valuable information about facility layouts. If entrances are blocked or destroyed, missiles stored inside tunnels cannot be launched. As a result, even large stockpiles could become unusable. In March 2026, the Israel Defense Forces reported that the Israeli Air Force had conducted thousands of bombing runs against Iranian military targets. According to their statements, roughly 4,000 bombs had been dropped during operations focused heavily on missile infrastructure. The strikes reportedly targeted approximately 300 missile launch sites and storage areas, especially in western Iran. The stated objective was to significantly reduce Iran's ability to launch ballistic missiles toward Israel. Another controversy surrounding Iran's missile program involves the origin of some of its technology. Investigative journalist Peter Schweitzer has argued that many elements of Iran's missile systems have links to Chinese technology or materials. In interviews and reports, he cited intelligence sources claiming that components, engineering expertise, and specialized materials were transferred through various channels over the years. These reportedly included solid rocket fuel technology, precision guidance systems, carbon fiber materials used for lightweight missile bodies, and certain engine components. Schweitzer suggested that such support helped Iran transform its missile capabilities over several decades, from relatively simple rockets into more advanced weapons. He also mentioned systems such as the Shahid drone series and several Iranian missile types as examples of technologies that may have benefited from outside assistance. Iran had ambitious plans for expanding its missile inventory. Some projections suggested the country hoped to accumulate around 5,000 missiles by 2027 and possibly more than 10,000 by 2030. Meanwhile, reports also surfaced about shipments of chemical materials linked to missile fuel production. Investigations by journalists using ship tracking data and satellite imagery indicated that vessels connected to Iranian companies had transported cargo from chemical storage ports in China toward Iran. Some of these shipments allegedly included substances such as sodium perchlorate, a chemical commonly used in solid rocket propellants. For years, the United States has accused China of allowing companies to provide dual-use materials to Iran, items that can serve both civilian and military purposes. China has repeatedly denied these accusations, stating that it adheres to international export control regulations. Historically, cooperation between the two countries dates back decades. During the Iran-Iraq War, China reportedly supplied Iran with certain missile systems. Over time, technological exchanges and military cooperation gradually expanded. Another topic of discussion online involved radar systems. Iran had deployed surveillance radar systems such as the YLC-8B along its borders. Developed by the China Electronics Technology Group Corporation, the radar was promoted as having the ability to detect stealth aircraft like the F-2 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning II. However, critics claimed that during combat operations, many of these radar installations were destroyed or disabled by stealth aircraft before they could effectively respond. This sparked widespread discussion across online forums, with some users questioning whether the systems performed as advertised. Beyond the battlefield, geopolitical implications are also part of the conversation. China and Iran have built close ties in energy, infrastructure development, and long-term strategic planning. Iran plays an important role in China's broader ambitions in the Middle East, particularly regarding energy security and regional influence. Some analysts argue that Beijing sees Iran as a key partner in maintaining access to oil resources and establishing strategic presence in the region. Others interpret the relationship through the lens of global power competition, where alliances form among countries seeking to challenge the existing international order. As events continue to unfold, observers are debating what these developments mean for the future balance of power. Major geopolitical shifts sometimes occur gradually, but occasionally they accelerate suddenly during times of conflict. And when they do, the consequences can reshape alliances, military strategies, and global politics for years to come. Before you go, I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this story. Do you think these military claims reflect reality, or are they more about political messaging? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Your opinions always make these discussions more interesting.